Hello Texas fish friends. I just wanted to show off a tank that I set up probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know if it's even that long. Anyhow, this is nothing but sailfin mollies. All the adult sailfin mollies were actually wild caught near Austin, Texas. There's a nice population of them there. And all the fry that are growing in there are fry from them. Got multiple generations. There's some little guys and some bigger guys. This one's a little bigger. And they're pretty cool. Man, the males are just absolutely gorgeous in here. There's only 2 large males. Some light on males, but lots of females. And man, they just reproducing like crazy. It's pretty awesome. This is a dirted tank. So we got, I was blasting sand at the bottom here. Underneath of there, I have a mixture of soil from my backyard. It's kind of a sandier soil. And I used to have it as a garden area. But then it's mixed with a little bit of Osmocote, and I put in some kitty litter with it to kind of absorb some of the extra nutrients that might be in there and slowly dissipate it. At least that's the plan. You can see this is dwarf sage here, and at the bottom is the smaller plants. It's starting to take off. It's going a little bit slow, but as you can see over here, it's sending out runners and doing pretty good. Shouldn't be too long before the bottom's completely filled in. And then you get this dwarf lily thing here, bought from Petco, one of those little packages. Man, that thing exploded. We've got so many leaves on top. I'll show you here in a minute. And we've got, oh, this plant's kind of cool. This plant right here. This is it'll come to me here in just a minute, but it was found actually in the local stream that I pulled out. It's an invasive, not very invasive, but it's a non-native aquarium plant, obviously. Man, it'll come to me here in a second. And we got some other plants here too. I put in here. You see all the floating stuff in here? That's for all the babies for them to live in. It's working pretty well. So I've got a lot of roots from frog bit that are hanging, man, all the way down to here. So I mean, some of that stuff is the length of my hand. So you got probably 8-9 inches of roots coming down. Threw in some of the guppy grass here. The guppy grass obviously makes a really good hiding place for babies too. Works really well. It's growing fairly slow, and there's some hair algae mixed in with it, but a lot of the sailfin mollies like to go over and pick on and eat that, so I'll kind of leave it in. I'm not too worried about it. If it gets a little bit thick, I kind of pull a bunch of it out. And there's a male right there trying to do some breeding. Just kind of, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but he's got a really blue kind of tint on that tail. In the wild, you're looking down, they swim. It looks like they have like a blue tail on them, like almost like a guppy tail. It's really kind of cool. So yeah, he's definitely interested in breeding. This tank's a lot of fun. I've been told that dirted tanks are terrible and you can't really grow plants in sand and everything. I don't know. I know these plants are not exactly difficult plants to grow, but they seem to be growing really well. In fact, this plant, I can't remember the name of it now, the kind of the reddish stem here. I put that in here about a month ago. Not a month ago, it's probably 2 weeks ago. And it almost had no leaves or anything on it at all. So as you can see, the leaves are kind of leafing out really well on it. It's got some new growth in here. All this on top, all that red on top is all new growth. And all the growth here, except for a couple of the bigger leaves, all the smaller leaves are all new growth. So it's growing extremely fast. As you can tell, that whole couple leaves there in the middle are new, and it's only been in there the same time. That was put in there the same time this was, probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So I think it's doing really well. Got a little bit of hornwort floating in there. And this hornwort was actually collected from the local stream too. We got some non-native plants in there, which makes it kind of cool. If you guys can help me out and help me remember what this is, could you put it in the comments below? Help me identify what kind of plant that is. And as well as this plant here too, it's kind of a little spindly, got some reflections going on here. So I got the top of the tank here. Yeah, I got it kind of rigged up here for a little bit here. I've got nothing but just some, what do you call it, 2x4 here with my lights laying on. These are just the Walmart lights. You go to Walmart and get the Hyper Tough brand. I think this is a, what is this, probably 3200 lume light. But if you look here, this is pretty wide here. It's probably 6 inches wide. Every night I come home, I take all the plants that are in here out. And whatever's over there comes out. All the frog bit, Just lift this up. All the frog bit and all the duckweed comes out, and every day there's that much more in there. So it's actually growing really, really well. If you look, this whole thing is exploded on top. It's really cool. And you can see these lilies are huge. They're really big for dwarf lilies. They're the size of my hand. They're pretty awesome. And every couple days, I pull a bunch of, I see some food floating. I must have got on top there. Let me put that down there for those guys. And every day, I pull out, not every day, but every couple days, I pull 2 or 3 of those leaves off because they grow incredibly fast. It completely chokes out the top. But I'm pretty happy with this tank. Well, thanks for joining me.